Hey, I think the player one guy's here. Let's go check it out. Hey, are you the player one guy?
No.
Are you sure you're wearing the Christmas hat?
So does Santa Claus.
Here. Play Felix the Cat on NES.
Okay.
To understand Felix the Cat, we have to jump back to 1919 during the silent film era where Felix got his start. In the 1950s, he reappeared with the TV series Felix the Cat. This series introduced his bag of tricks, which also serves as the desire for the newly introduced villain known as the Professor. The lore for this probably goes pretty deep, but this is all you really need to know to set up the backstory for the game. The Professor tells Felix he wants the bag, and Felix takes off. I find it kind of funny he doesn't technically mention that he catnapped Felix's love interest, cat girlfriend, or whatever she is. And that brings us into the game's first stage, where Felix has a standard attack and can also jump, and they got the buttons correct. Yay! As you move to the right, you can collect these cat head icons. If you capture enough of them, a heart thing drops, which upgrades Felix's form and attack. The form upgrades also serve as a form of health, as getting damaged lowers you back to a lesser form, so it is in your best interest to upgrade Felix by getting enough cat head icon things. Speaking of weird heads in the sky, if you see a cloud of the Professor's head, yes, that combination of words I just said, you might be able to punch it to get a bonus item. In this case, it's a 1-up or extra life. There's also a cloud cat head of Felix's girlfriend who says, "Felix," and this can usually be found at the end of the levels. What weird magic is at work here? Let's talk about enemies. We got fish flying up out of the water, birds flying around us, cute little things walking left to right, and then these nightmare tree guys who shoot mouth projectiles at us. And this doesn't include the stationary trees that kind of just look at you. You know, would they grow up to become the background in that one Mortal Kombat level? Speaking of enemies, go down this bag thing at the end of every third level to get to the boss. This first one is that guy you see with your eyes on the screen. It behooves you to be a powered-up Felix at this point to provide the ease of pummeling him. And so we move Felix into World 2, where he uses an umbrella to float about and uses bag as a punching bag or something. When you upgrade him, he's in a hot air balloon throwing pancakes? But then later he's in a fireball spewing attack plane. Yeah. But there's something about this that feels familiar. You know, I don't know, something about pyramids and desert in the second world. I mean, did they get this idea from Super Mario Bros. 3? Cannon tank time. That bag of tricks is pretty cool, and I can see why the Professor wants it. But what's this bag here? If you go down these bags, you transport into bonus areas with additional cat heads. Why can't the Professor just come get one of these instead? And is that little guy wearing a traffic cone as a hat? If so, I want one too. And did that dog wall just bark a dog head at us? That's weirder than the springy dog boss. Apparently in Egyptian mythology, springy dogs with guns shoot flying cats on the reg. Then there's this cutscene where the Professor is telling Felix he's gonna get a game over, but this looks like Felix's house from earlier. Was Felix out just having a fun time or on vacation while his spouse is kidnapped? The third world is a departure to a frozen wooded forest area, maybe Alaskan or Canadian. I wonder if we can get any syrup from these trees or logs or whatever they're called. And what are those weird things moving back and forth? They look like they just hatched. Maybe they're ready to feast on a frozen cat. And the boss is this floating trash can robot guy. What's that got to do with the cold northern forest? Have you ever read Hatchet? The fourth world is kinda tropical oceanic, and you're rowing all over the ocean before you start to ride a dolphin. It's a cat riding a dolphin. Would a cat eat a dolphin? I'm gonna be up late thinking about that. No, I won't, because I'll be up all night thinking about Felix riding a turtle underwater, and the turtle shoots bubbles at crabs and nuclear blobfish jelly things. Oh, Felix, what else is in your bag of tricks? Oh, a submarine submersible in the shape of your own head. Are you gonna fight the boss with that thing? Yeah, you are. And you're gonna fight that flubber wannabe before downgrading back to the Turtle Rider, and then a scuba Felix who looks like he's got a suitcase for an underwater meeting. I think this game might be a bit too easy. I mean, it's definitely fun, for sure, but I'm just flying through these levels. Pun intended. But seriously, with even the most basic twitch reflex skills, you can really just move right and get through the levels, no problem. Am I fighting a mirror Felix? I don't know enough about the franchise, but I assume there's maybe a faux Felix or something. Anyway, he's gone. Every game has its requisite ice world, and in this game it's an underwater ice world, where we fight the trash can we already beat earlier in the game. And from Ice World, it's then Snow World. I guess that kinda helps us hit the Christmas element to this episode a bit more than just wearing a Christmas hat, but what's with the giant fish trapped in the ice? Pretty sure this is the guy who froze them, so let's pummel him for depriving us of delicious fishes. Got froze fishes. So one last cutscene before the final levels, and the professor says, "Good job getting here," but that's clearly wrong unless Felix lives with the professor. Actually, that's a new twist on this I had not considered. But moving forward, we are this awesome spaceship shooting spinning space blots, and is this place red and foreboding enough? We finally get to fight the professor, and he's definitely the hardest boss because he beelines it right for you and shoots jewels at you. You can upgrade Felix to get the better projectile and health, but you just gotta time your dodges and attacks. By this point in the game, you should have a ton of lives from all the cat heads and bonuses, so the likelihood of a game over, pretty unlikely. After a dozen hits or so, I take the professor out with the basic Felix glove punch, and on the next screen it says we rescued Kitty. But I can't help but notice he didn't untie her. And who is saying I love you? Kitty? Or the narrator?
There, I beat the game.
Hey, what about the lady that does the hand paintings?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Alright, happy holidays.